My mother's cornfield in Shikoku, where she poured endless sweat and tears, now lies in ruins under the hooves of wild boars. They've turned all her hard work into a battlefield. That's why we set out, to protect what's most precious. But will we return safely after facing these fierce wild beasts? The answer lies just ahead. After a thorough strategy meeting, we carefully chose our route, pinpointed the mountain near the cornfield where the boars often appear, and identified potential ambush spots. We quickly took our positions. Everyone wore camo gear, strapped on rugged boots gripping every rocky step, checked radios and firearms, and attached GPS collars to our skilled hunting dogs. About 30 minutes later, the dogs' urgent barks echoed, signaling they had surrounded prey. The GPS on my device confirmed they were deep in a dense bamboo thicket. I chose to approach from the upwind side, sneaking along thick bamboo trunks to conceal myself. My heart pounded. Each step closer to the target was as light as a cat's paw. I gripped my rifle tight, aimed at the target, finger on the trigger. Boom! The prey was hit, but dashed deeper into the forest. Without hesitation, I charged after it with the dogs. Exhausted and unable to fight back, it collapsed. I stepped forward, granting it a final mercy. This task demands a cool head and brave heart, because the line between hunter and hunted can be razor thin. We moved to a more strategic spot, a narrow trail dividing two forest patches. It's a natural bottleneck where boars often run when chased. An ambush here could cut off their escape routes. Waiting is always the tensest part. Suddenly, dogs barked louder and closer, herding the target straight towards me. A massive dark figure shot across the trail like an arrow. I fired rapidly, but its terrifying speed let it vanish into the opposite forest. Failure didn't break our spirit. Release the hunting dogs, I ordered over the radio. On my screen, I tracked the pack and the boar's movement. Using terrain and speed analysis, I pinpointed a perfect interception spot. Sprinting there, my heart hammered like war drums. Arriving, I took position and raised my gun. This time, the boar had no chance, welcomed by a burning bullet straight into its body. The hunt pressed on, guided by the dog's signals deeper into the forest. I quickly found a large tree to hide behind. Leaves rustled and the dogs barked nearer. Prey was approaching. A swift move, I raised my gun and squeezed the trigger. The startled target spun and fled, but the hunting dogs were right behind, accelerating to prevent escape. Following the GPS, I knew the chase would end soon. Tracking the device, I spotted the boar trapped by the courageous dogs. Calmly, I stepped in, locked onto the dark form, and fired. The bullet ended the struggle. The hunt continued in a rugged, steep area, demanding sharp focus and reflexes. The dogs found another hiding boar. Suddenly, a black head emerged from nearby bushes. Without wasting a second, I steadied my aim, held my breath, and fired. The wild beast fell instantly. It all happened like a reflex forged through thousands of hours, where experience, instinct, and decisiveness became one. As the sun began to set, we prepared to end a long day. Yet the dogs weren't done. They cornered the last wild boar. I shouted for them to back off. Just then, I fired the final shot, sharp and decisive, closing a day full of challenges. Loaded with trophies into the back of our Jeep Gladiator, we headed home under the golden sunset. This work requires steely nerves and strong resolve, as every hunt is a face-off with danger. But to bring peace to the villagers and protect their hard-earned crops, every ounce of persistence and sacrifice is worth it. Every year, millions of wild boars wreak havoc on crops and threaten the ecosystems across America's vast plains. Instead of silently stalking through the woods like traditional hunting, my team has taken to the skies, hunting boars by helicopter. From above, we not only spot and approach targets quickly, but embark on a challenging journey, a thrilling adventure that breaks all the boundaries of conventional hunting. This is how we turn wild boar hunting into a battle of wits and skill, not just a chase after prey. Around 4 p.m., we took off under the blazing sun. The helicopter roared like a beast, soaring straight ahead. From the sky, everything was clear. No cover, no hiding spots. The roar of engines sent the wild boars into a panic, charging to escape. The pilot dropped altitude, the target perfectly framed at an ideal range. My team and I squeezed the triggers in unison. Bullets rained down like thunder. The wild boar fell on the dry, grassy plains. A clean victory to kick off a smooth and successful hunt. The helicopter kept circling, hunting for the prey below. The moment it tilted in midair, I had to summon every ounce of calm to line up the perfect shot. Finger squeezed the trigger, and the bullet flew through the sky, striking dead on the fleeing beast. But there were still shadows slipping away. I signaled the pilot to give chase, determined not to let a single one escape our sight. Aiming from above is the ultimate challenge of marksmanship, where every factor like vibration, wind, and speed works against you. Only true sharpshooters have the guts to turn chaos into absolute precision. Tracking every move of the target, I adjusted my stance to unleash the perfect shot. The heavy beast fell, a testament to skill honed through countless encounters on the razor's edge between failure and victory. Suddenly, the neighboring forest shook as a massive herd of wild boars poured in. Without hesitation, we charged into the eye of the storm, seizing every moment to ignite a fierce battle. These boars weren't easy to break. They scattered everywhere, constantly changing direction, making shots much tougher. But my pilot buddy and I had been through this countless times. With seamless teamwork, we tracked their movements and unleashed precise shots. In a matter of seconds, many were down, ending their destructive rampage. The helicopter continued sweeping the area a few hundred meters away, ready for the next hunt. We skimmed just above the treetops, eyes sharp on every bush. The wild boars were in full panic, scattering wildly, no longer moving as a herd. Determined not to give them a chance to escape, I squeezed the trigger with conviction. Each shot rang out like an uncompromising declaration of war. Before long, many had fallen, bringing the intense chase to an end. The wild boars scattered in all directions, like waves searching for a way to escape. We tracked their paths closely, mobilizing every resource to give chase. Everyone pushed hard, determined to wipe out these relentless destroyers. Because we knew this was more than just a hunt. It was a statement of total control between the sky and the ground.
I grew up among the vast fields of Texas, where wild boars have become the greatest threat to farmers. They don't just eat the crops, they tear the land apart. That's why I have to pick up my rifle, head into the woods, and hunt them. Not for pleasure, but because it's the only way to protect this land. When you're a farmer, you understand the value of every inch of soil, and you'll do whatever it takes to defend it. At first light, we began the hunt along the wooded edge of the pasture, right where the boars usually emerge to ravage the crops. We hadn't gone far when a wild boar suddenly burst out from the tree line, right into my line of fire. Instinct took over. I raised my rifle and pulled the trigger without hesitation. The gunshot cracked through the still morning air. One clean shot. The boar dropped instantly. Merrick's no amateur. Last season, he took down 9 wild boars in a single morning. His shots are always clean and decisive. This time was no different. When a boar wandered too close, it only took him a few seconds to handle it. Easy as pie, he said casually, lowering his gun. That's the voice of a man who's faced down hundreds of wild animals. Our strategy is to keep moving. Staying in one place too long leaves behind human scent, and once the boars catch wind of it, they'll circle away. Merrick led the way, but suddenly stopped in a trench between 2 thick patches of brush. He signaled, and the whole team quickly spread out and held their ground. Not 2 minutes later, a flurry of gunfire erupted. A few dark shapes collapsed mid-run, boars caught in the ambush. After that intense standoff, the forest went silent again. The boars seemed to have retreated, hiding deep in the shadows. It took over half an hour before I saw them again, but the wait was worth it. Another pack emerged, moving quietly and slowly, unaware they'd walked right into our sights. From a high blind, Buster looked through the scope, zeroed in on the last one in the line, the least alert, and calmly pulled the trigger. One clean shot. The target dropped in seconds. Buster and I moved quickly after Merrick's signal. As soon as we reached the ridge, we heard rustling in the distance. Not one, not 10, but nearly 20 wild boars were charging straight at us. My adrenaline spiked. I reacted on instinct. Raise, aim, fire. Within seconds, one of them dropped right at my feet. Sudden chaotic, but chaos I've grown used to. As soon as we reached the area Merrick had marked, Buster locked in on a moving target. The boar was weaving quickly between thick trees, but that didn't faze him. He kept his sights steady. One sharp report rang out. Just one shot, enough to end the chase. The boar toppled into the dry leaves, never had a chance to fight back. It was a full day of hunting, grueling, intense, and full of heart-pounding moments. But that's life in the backwoods. Dangerous and not for the faint of heart. That wraps up today's hunt. Did this trip get your blood pumping? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more adrenaline-packed hunts. See you next time.
Amid rugged terrain teeming with danger, hordes of wild boars gather to take refuge. But today, fearless hunters venture straight into their lair to track down these ferocious beasts. Do they have the grit to take down the savage horde? Breathtaking moments from treacherous swamps to dark, dense forests are about to unfold. Join us to witness every shot that marks their triumphant hunt, coming up next. Rugged terrain, conquering wild boars in the muddy lands. The hunt across the Texas swamps will be the first battleground for today's clash. Deep within the marsh, Nick quickly spots a herd of wild boars foraging together. In an instant, he locks onto his target and pulls the trigger. The gunshot echoes, sending the herd scattering in panic, leaving behind the body of a hefty boar on the leaf-strewn ground. A precise, clean shot, an impressive opening to this thrilling pursuit.
Right in front of you. More behind him. Oh! Get him, Jack!
At the clearing near the swamp, a lone wild boar, leisurely foraging, falls squarely into John's crosshairs. Without hesitation, he adjusts his rifle's aim and squeezes the trigger. The shot rings out, striking the beast dead on, leaving its lifeless body motionless on the ground. Another threat neutralized. Another triumph added to the team's tally. Continuing to track the trail to the eastern edge of the swamp, John quickly spots his target. A wild boar, engrossed in foraging, remains oblivious to the hunter's presence. Selecting the optimal position and angle, he pulls the trigger. Flawlessly executed, the beast collapses instantly, without a chance to resist. Almost simultaneously, the familiar sound of gunfire echoes from other ambush points, signaling the mission's success. The threat is swiftly neutralized, ensuring these beasts won't ravage the farmer's crops, at least for today. A decisive shot rings out through the dense forest, where another hunting team has just arrived in their familiar vehicle. Upon reaching the site, they swiftly move to their pre-assigned positions. Mere minutes later, a wild boar ambushed directly into Leon's crosshairs. Waiting for the perfect moment, a single gunshot shatters the silence, and the beast collapses instantly. An impeccably precise shot, eliminating yet another threat to the forest. At the same moment, deep within the forest, a hidden marksman spots a herd of wild boars entering his line of sight. A rapid succession of shots rings out, striking two boars at the rear while the lead boar escapes into the dense woods. Outside the forest, the barking of hunting dogs echoes. Instantly, a massive wild boar emerges. Without hesitation, a barrage of bullets is unleashed, cutting off the beast's escape route. To ensure no mistakes, the hunter approaches closer and delivers a final decisive shot, completely neutralizing the threat. This meticulous takedown reveals just how cunning these beasts are, keeping the hunters ever vigilant. Another area is cleanly secured, restoring peace to the land overrun by these creatures.
The destructive wild boars are ravaging crops and invading forests in Russia, but the steel marksmen are ready to confront them. Every bullet, every breathless moment is captured vividly, keeping you from looking away. Don't miss it. Watch until the end to witness the most thrilling hunt. Which hunter do you think will take down the most impressive prey? Let's find out right now. The breathless ambush in Chelyabinsk marked the beginning of a brutal battle. John's team moved quietly in their familiar vehicle, quickly entering the forest according to the prearranged plan. A few minutes later, among the trees, a dark figure flashed across John's scope. John got into a ready position, his eyes tracking every movement of the beast. When the moment came, a sharp gunshot rang out, cutting off all attempts of the wild boar to escape. Inside the forest, bursts of gunfire also echoed one after another, signaling that more targets were being taken down. The hunt in Chelyabinsk had officially begun. James was lying in ambush in silence, waiting for the target to appear. Suddenly, from a distance, a herd of wild boars came charging in front, running in a line across his line of sight. A series of gunshots rang out, taking down the lead boar, but the rest ran too fast and disappeared into the deep forest. Not giving the beasts a chance to escape, James immediately determined their direction and reported the position to his teammates via radio. Right after that, they quickly moved in on the marked location. One member of the team spotted a large, heavy wild boar hiding among the dense trees. Without delay, a gunshot rang out, taking down the boar and gunfire erupted from all directions. The remaining ones were also taken down one by one. Hunting in the dense forest was already a challenge, but upon reaching the snowy region of Kaluga, everything became even more unforgiving. Thomas's team didn't hesitate. They spread out, surrounding the fields and snowy forest, ready for a life or death battle. At Leon's position, a wild boar suddenly charged out from the forest. Not letting it escape, he pulled the trigger, taking it down with a single shot. But right after, other dark shapes suddenly darted past, leaving Leon no time to react. As soon as he received the signal that the boars had escaped, Thomas immediately used a tracking device to follow their trails. Not long after, a wild boar was found hiding among thick branches. Thomas quickly closed in, then pulled the trigger. The shot rang out decisively, and the boar collapsed on the spot. Another precise shot, another victory marked on the icy, colorful